Hi, in this video I will tell you about Gitcoin. Gitcoin is a platform to connect open source developers with funding opportunities, because yes, developers also need to eat. In a way, it's like Kickstarter for open source development projects. However, from now on it's going to be fully decentralized. Unlike Kickstarter, decentralization ensures that it is more fair than the general centralized traditional funding, because every developer gets the funding that the investors actually invested into it. It is also fair towards investors themselves, because they see where the money goes, because it's all on blockchain. There are opportunities for everybody, so for developers who have their own projects, so that is founders, developers who don't have their own projects but would like to contribute, and also investors of any kind and any format, from institutional investors to people who want to invest a couple of dollars. Unlike traditional funding, Gitcoin offers Quadratic Funding, and everybody uses this term like people are aware what that means. However, I wasn't aware what Quadratic Funding meant until I found out about Gitcoin, so I'll explain it to you as well. Basically, there are two pools where the money comes from. So the first pool is individual investors, and the second pool is institutional investors. As you can guess, this one, the institutional investors and organizations, is much larger. However, what tends to happen is that they invest large sums of money into one project, and then one project gets a lot of funding, and a bunch of others who are small, they cannot even compete. So what you can do with that is you can match the institutional investments to individual investments, which are usually much lower. So what matters here is the number of people that invested into each project instead of the amount of money that individuals invested. So let's say you have two projects. It's much easier to understand on the example. In one project, 3 different people each invest $1. And in a second project, only one person invests $3. So technically, they all have $3, 3 and 3, from individual investors. However, then there is a portion of institutional funding coming. And because there are 3 people interested in the first project and only one person interested in the second one, the first one is going to have 3 times larger share of institutional investments. So now we know the algorithm behind how institutional investments are distributed. Let's see how you can actually get a grant. If you are a developer of an open source project, you apply there. There is a certain competition, of course, not everyone is accepted. There is a seasonal kind of frame of how grants are distributed. And in each season, there is just an opportunity for all individual investors to invest, and then for institutional investments to match those. If you need not just funding, but help on your project as a founder, you can also offer bounties or incentives for other developers to help you out on some tasks. So you put it out as a bounty, and then other developers can contribute and get the share for their contribution, either come from the grant or it can come from individual investors as well. This actually works both ways, so if you are a developer but not a founder, you can offer your development services to other founders and they can purchase them from you via Gitcoin. If you are an investor, you can support projects during donation seasons. So when you invest, afterwards you can earn a share or some returns from that project, and that only depends on the project founders themselves and how they decide to do it. To start using Gitcoin, you can just go to the website, connect your MetaMask wallet, and can start doing the do straight away. However, it is also beneficial if you create a Gitcoin Passport. Gitcoin Passport allows you to be counted as a more worthwhile investor in a way. For creating a Gitcoin Passport, you will need a bunch of other social media that you can connect to it. And for connecting other social media, you get stamps. The more stamps you have, the higher the multiplier and the worthiness of your investment is going to be. So if, let's say, you have a passport and you invest $5, it's worth like $120. However, if you don't have a passport and you invest $5, you don't get any multiplier at all, and your investment counts as $5. Having this functionality of the Gitcoin Passport is actually a good way to resist against Sybil attacks. Sybil attacks are when people create a bunch of accounts and of low-value accounts and new accounts, and just spam the projects and try to get a bunch of airdrops. This passport feature will also be available in the alpha test round that is going to happen between January the 17th to January the 31st. It is going to be the 16th season of Gitcoin funding, however, the first one to be decentralized, and therefore it is also a test funding round. A more proper main launch of Gitcoin is planned in the early Q2 of 2023. In a way, it's like an incentivized testnet before the project launches. And the incentive for investors is that they get an NFT, that is a POAP NFT, or just proof of participation, that you can claim 2 weeks after the funding round finishes. And to be able to claim that, all you need to do is contribute at least $5 during this funding round. The link to the minting page will be listed on their Notion website, and you can also find it on their Twitter. Many people know about Gitcoin already from its previous centralized activity, and even Vitalik Buterin tweeted about it recently, and now it has becoming even better and transitioning to be fully decentralized. So I have full support of that, because I think this kind of thing has a very much of a Web3 ethos of equal opportunity for people and owning your own stuff